So we're here to talk to you about SRAM's new one-by-road systems. It's something that they rolled out on mountain biking quite a few seasons ago, and it's been massively successful in all forms of mountain bike racing and just general mountain bike riding. Then in 2014 they brought CX1, which is the one-by system specifically for cyclocross, and now for 2015, 2016 they're rolling out this system to be used across many different road disciplines. So Robin here has been riding and racing CX1 for more than a season now, and what have been your experiences with it and what are the benefits of the system?
It's funny in a way that I started racing cross in the late 80s, and everyone then used single ring setups, which was kind of the norm. Since then we've gone to double rings almost universally, but I always thought for several seasons that a single ring might suit me better, and then CX1 came around and it seemed like the ideal solution for me for cross, because the range of gearing for the majority of courses, even when they are very hilly, isn't that wide. With the technology that keeps the chain in place and not having to worry about a front shifter, it's been superb. All season long I haven't had a single problem with the chain coming off or even getting close to coming off. I've never run out of gears.
So yeah, the technology they've adapted from the mountain bike side of things and refined a little. That's basically it's the chainring profile, and then there's a clutch on the rear mech.
Yeah. The X-Sync chainring basically is what SRAM are calling wide narrow technology. So you've got alternate teeth which are wider than narrower, and in between there's a little ramp section which has, if any mud gets onto the chainring from the chain, it just presses it out of the way so it doesn't ever build up and cause the chain to unship. So the chain links fit perfectly over the chainring, meaning that with the clutch rear mech, which prevents the chain from slapping, so when you're going over bumps and the chain usually kicks up and down, it isn't able to. So I've found it massively reliable, and there's obvious opportunity for it to cross over, as SRAM have now done, into other forms of road cycling.
With my experience with just trying the new systems with the much wider ratios now, recently coming back from riding it on gravel roads in California and using a super wide 1042 on the back with a 44 chainring on the front, it gave me a lower bottom end than you would from a 5034 with a 1128 on it, and at the top end it was within 2 or 3 inches. So you had everything you needed. That central section of gearing, which you just use 90% of the time, the steps are absolutely fine. It's only when you get to the extremes of each end of the cassette where you've got the bigger jumps. But when you're riding on a kind of gravel, you're not actually doing that kind of smooth cadence rolling all the way up and down the gears. I went there, they're pretty cynical, thinking, right, this is just, it's one of those, another, why do we need this? But in that instance and that environment, it works superbly. There's simply no noise coming from the drivetrain at all. There's no chain slap, there's no bouncing, there's no rattles. You just you're riding along going, oh my God, this is ridiculous. And it's that tailplay thing when you get back and you look at your chainstay and it hasn't got paint chips in it and it hasn't got splatters of oil on it. It's just stayed smooth. It's impressive stuff. What do you reckon on it now being rolled out onto other things? Take time trial for instance.
I've done a lot of time trialing over the years, and I used to run quite close ratio rings anyway, so like a 48-53. So most of the time really you'd be on the big ring. In the larger end of the chain rings, above the original 38-46 range brought out for CX1 last year, that now extends up to 54 in 2-tooth jumps. So you've got an option of say 50, 52, 54 ring in any cassette you choose, which could be from 1125 up to a 1042. You probably wouldn't want to use that for a time trial, but there's a huge amount of range there. It could simplify things enormously because you don't need a front shifter. There's a chance it might be very slightly more aero, but that's not really been researched yet.
Some of the guys that I've been talking to about it, who are getting quite excited about it, are you more kind of traditional circuit or crit racers, who are basically saying, well, I never use the front mech anyway, and having that chain security, especially in that kind of hustle and bustle, especially if you crash and your chain doesn't come off, it is going to give you a significant benefit. I don't think we're ever going to see one-by systems being used in Grand Tours or major races, but you might see them in the time trial.
Yeah, I think the beauty of it is it's not a niche product, but it's a product that's quite focused. If you know the sort of riding you're going to be doing and you select the gears that will suit you to suit that sort of riding, then it could be perfect. It's not going to be a do-it-all product, but if, say, you're an adventure rider, so you've got a kind of off-road, go anywhere touring type bike, if you want to cut out one shifter and potential for chain problems where you might have dropped it or you might get it caught up and you could snap it in the back and beyond. It could be great because it's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody that's tried to introduce a friend or get somebody new into riding to trying to explain the gearing on a bike, where you're going, right, well, you've got two sets of levers and you have to use combinations of the both to be able to get the gear that you actually want. It's quite a weird thing to try and understand. Having just a simple system where you go, right, you've got one lever, that one up, that makes it harder, that makes it easier, and go ahead and ride. And the maintenance aspect, that it's going to stay smoother, it's going to be quieter, you're not going to worry quite so much about it. And because there's less parts in the drivetrain, I should imagine people would think that you're going to make some sort of weight saving. So, will it be a group set that's going to end up with all your weight weenies specking?
Overall, it's not aimed at purely saving weight, because a comparison of SRAM's Force 22 row group set compared to the Force 1 group set, you save around about 50 grams overall for the group set weight. So it's not about the weight saving, but the key part is, because you're not paying for a front mech, and the shifter mechanism and the left lever is quite a large cost saving to be had. So for, say, the commuting market, fitness market, there's a definite bonus there.
So SRAM's new one-by-road systems, we're not seeing a complete revolution across the wide spectrum of road bikes, but what we are seeing is something that is of genuine worth to set disciplines and for entry-level riders. And if you just want to be able to focus down your bike and make it specific for what particular thing you do most of the time, then I think the new one-by stuff is going to be a real not a game changer, but it's going to be a real bonus to people.